Hey, welcome to the weekly wrap up. We are a little bit later today due to Airbnb lighting and Wi Fi and everything. But we're here. We made
I,
it.
I notice you're not outside today either. You're inside a rather exquisite looking place.
Yeah, I don't want an umbrella to fall on my head. So, yeah, here I am.
Here you are. Lovely piano in the background as well.
It is.
um, Excellent. Yes. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome everyone who has joined us. Hopefully on YouTube, I noticed as we were going live, it might not. Oh, no, it should be live now. So hopefully you are with us as well. And hello to everyone from Getting Started in Crypto here with us in the chat as well. Maybe we start doing it a little later because a few more people are with us. Sadie, Liz, Anash, KJ, Marie Klein. Hello to you all. So, Liz, shall we crack on looking at Bitcoin alts, Ethereum? What do you want to start with?
Yeah, well, we've had a lovely green week due to the Jackson Hole Symposium and the hint that we're going into quantitative easing and how that's going to look. Now, this month has been a huge month for the FOMC as well, where they've had special interest rates discussions every week, and that's happening again this week. So hopefully as we move into September, we've got some easing happening and that will create the first of our, mega bounces for the bull run. So let's have a look as to what that could mean for BTC. So I know you're all sick of me saying it, but there's my 87 on the chart on BTC. So I really do think we're seeing that soon. We've got a nice monthly candle. This is a monthly BTC chart forming where, at the moment it's kind of a doji spinning top and that could see us head to 87 for that last bounce. A pullback and then a continuation. So I think this next couple of months, coming up to Christmas, that would be, sort of our run September when we get that announcement, going into October, pulling back for November, heading up for December. Early next year, we've got a pullback, January, maybe into February, and then we get our major run. So heading up. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Our bull run should run until about September, October 2025. And then we get that larger pullback happening like we do in the cycle. So far, we are running on target. Let's just have a look at the quantitative chart that we keep going to. So that's kind of where we want to head up to this region for the next sort of bounce, and then that pull back into that second wave, and then we want to start heading up potentially for that third wave. Now, the third wave, depending on how much sort of volume we get coming into the market, can head right up to about 182, maybe even to the 200. So up to this kind of region. So there are fib levels going up. So depending on, volume, ETFs, that sort of stuff, like, how much sort of quantitative easing we get and how much money comes out of bonds and the DXY and those sort of regions sort of flooding into crypto, because it's going to be seen as a store of value. So that's kind of unknown at the moment, but it is looking good. It is looking really good for crypto.
Okay, that's what we like. So one eye on the traditional markets and everything going on in the real world, and one eye in the crypto
Always.
world, essentially.
Yeah, I think always we need to have an eye on the traditional market, just for the fact, the money flow doesn't come from nowhere. It's not this magic thing that, money is, moved out of thin air. It's literally, it's a cycle where one flows into the other and out and in. and that's what we kind of need to be watching. So when we do have major pullbacks like we saw in Japan, obviously money comes out of crypto. It comes out of everywhere because stop losses have been hitting, or they need to boister up trades. They're going under. So a lot of the time that will come out of crypto to, if they've got longer term sort of margin trades in traditional markets. So so that's kind of what happens. It's just a money cycle. So we just need to go where that money cycle is going.
Excellent. And does that translate across to Ethereum and other alts, or is it specifically Bitcoin?
Well, obviously, once the major run happens, that will translate into, Ethereum. It will translate into alts, and that sort of money flow goes down the line from the majors to, towards the end, we get the silly money where we're just, anything that moves bounces. We're not in that, but yeah, we've had sort of a weird money flow where we've had a lot of meme coins this cycle, and so we're moving kind of back into the AI again, which started at the start of this cycle. So that's something to be watching, sort of like your ASI, your render, that sort of thing, and moving some money into those at the moment. The next pullback is probably the one around Christmas time, or just after, into January, where that's where we're going to get the major sort of run happening.
Okay, fantastic. All right, what should we look at next?
All right, so Ethereum, we are kind of in this upward sort of, you could say it's a channel, because it's quite parallel in this region. So, and we can see that, potentially we're heading up to this top of this channel. We'll probably bounce along until we get to this upper region, which is our pivot, which is about 3,250. Breaking this region would be good for Ethereum and would show that, there's a lot more money moving into it. At the moment, we're quite high on the stock RSI, and we're coming up to resistance on the RSI. So once we get to that region, we're going to get a pullback. So about sort of 56, 57 on the RSI, we should see a pullback. At the moment, we're obviously seeing a pullback, but we do have the 9 and 21 EMAs on the daily about to cross. And that's a super strong sign that we're going to see some momentum up. So I do think we're going to see that 3,250-ish, and that would be our first wave in this new section if we can break this pivot up here. So if we don't break that, we're coming back down for one more wave. At the moment, this does look like a truncated wave, and this is the start of our run. So hopefully that's the case, but there is a pattern that does take us down for one more wave down. So all eyes are on this pivot at the moment.
Okay, cool. We've got a few alts requests coming in. Before we get to them, was there anything else you wanted to look at?
Solana, that's always on everyone's mind. So
I was going to say that has been requested, but it feels like Solana's quickly moving into the bit where we do Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and then alts.
Yeah. It does really feel like one of the majors now. So, where we've got, you must have money in Bitcoin, you must have money in Ethereum, and you must have money in Solana, like long term, untraded money. So just sitting there accumulating, and, that's kind of what, Solana and is moving into at the moment. So, they're like Ethereum and like Bitcoin, there's a pattern that goes down, obviously. This is kind of the pattern that would go down, a WXY. If we can't break the 178 sort of region on Solana, then we are coming down for like a third wave in the Y, and then a fourth and a fifth. So we want to break above the 178, 179 in this pattern and have a continuation up, because that would mean that this last wave was truncated and potentially a C. And yeah, so we do have, like Matic is going back to Polygon and changing their ticker back to Poly. So
Pole, I
that
think it is.
seems to be creating a little bit of movement for Matic. So that will draw money from these majors as well. So that is going to be one to watch, one to sort of, see what they're doing. ADA have a hard fork coming up. Now, they have done literally not much. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with ADA, because, once Solana put in some new technology into the chain, then this network really took off. So they're two to watch as well.
Okay, right. In request wise, we've got a couple which I will get you to line up, and then we'll go to a little break and have a break. So SHIB, SHIB,
Yep.
and also one favorite, XRP. So SHIB and XRP, let's go for those, and we will come back in a minute to see what they're doing. Okie dokie. Ready when you are, Liz.
All right. I'm just getting XRP ready. Bear with me 2 seconds. It does not want to do. Hang on.
It's all right. Just whilst we're waiting, a big shout out to BingX as well, who are sponsoring this week's weekly wrap up. Plenty of links in amongst everywhere to BingX if you want to sign up through Lisa and through GSIC. Yeah, thank you for sponsoring another week of the wrap up.
Very appreciated. Now I'm going to jump in to XRP, because everyone loves XRP. So it doesn't do a lot, but everyone loves it. So it's predominantly sideways. As you can see, this is the daily. And when it moves, it normally really, really moves. And then it does nothing for a long time. So let me just go. I'm going to bring this to a monthly to see kind of how we're going with this and where it's going. So, obviously this isn't the whole, for some reason, XRP disappeared and then came back. And, because in 2017, 2018, in that run, we went to $3.30. So, and that's nowhere to be seen anymore. But there's obviously people that bought around that $3.30 mark that are still holding XRP and have been dollar cost averaging for such a long time. So it does look like, in this run, it could go up to that sort of, $2.90 mark, potentially even breaking that high of 3.6. So, depending on the money flow, that's, XRP has such a huge amount of coins in the market, and they are, actively printed all the time, so, and released. So, that's a big call for XRP, because it only takes a whale to sell this down. So there would need to be something like we saw in the last run, where we saw this big move up. And that was a collective sort of agreement between a lot of whales. Everyone got involved, and XRP went to nearly $2. So that's a potential that could happen. So if we're looking at this chart and not looking at it from the $3.30 mark, this potentially is our wave 1. And that wave 3 would take us up to that potentially the 3.6 mark. So, that's the long term of this. But, a lot of factors have to come into play for that to happen, especially with what we saw in this wave 1. So, that is a potential. And, it could be worth a gamble. It's a 550% move, which is really nice if you've got a big bag of XRP. So, yeah, nothing's ever guaranteed, obviously, in these markets. But if we did see something like, a whole heap of Telegram groups get together, a whole heap of Discords got together, and basically, a lot of money went into XRP, and it headed up to that almost $2 mark.
Okay, cool. And then next up, I think was SHIB.
SHIB. So again, I'll move this onto a higher time frame. Let's go to the daily on this one. We've had quite a big dip for SHIB. It did not break that previous high. So basically, yeah, that's our wave 1, and we're still possibly in correction at the moment. We haven't reached that region. So if we take this as the next wave of our next run, potentially we've almost, it came down to the 0.86 on the fib. So that's, that's a nice sort of pullback in that region. If we go and we look for pattern memory for SHIB, then we would be looking at around this, and it pulled back quite a bit deeper in that region. So it may have one more wave down. A lot of alts is kind of in a pattern where they could have one wave down, or they could continue up. And that is all dependent on, obviously, breaking, certain pivots. So the pivot for SHIB is 1599, which is just above. It has so far rejected there. The next pivot on which would, if it can break this next upper pivot, so that's an immediate pivot which takes this pattern higher. So breaking this region takes us to lots of zeros in front, 2014. No break here takes us back down to around the 11 mark for SHIB. So it's kind of right in the middle at the moment. So this region, if this is an impulse here, needs to hold the 1425 for this to be a viable sort of, move up. And so far, so good. Daily has just crossed on the 9 and the 21, which normally means that this is just a retest back to this region, and then we'll have a continuation higher. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing for SHIB. The 100 and 200 MAs are around this region, which does mean it is likely that we're going to see another push up. But yeah, will be all dependent whether we can hold that on this pullback here.
Okay. Now, just before we wrap up, you were talking the other day about DCAing and HODL portfolio, and feeling like perhaps it was a good time to either rebalance, or for those who haven't got a portfolio yet, to create one. What are your thoughts on that, and what would your approach be around that?
Yeah, so I think over the next, we're going to get, potentially going into Christmas, we're going to get quite a good run. So now is the time to start, weekly DCAing. Say you've got, I don't know, $5,000 to $10,000. Some people have more. But when I've done polls on Twitter, that seems to be, sort of up to about 50K is the max that people are investing into crypto. So divide that into 12 weeks and then work out what coins you want. Spread it over. You want to have, at the moment, probably 15%, 15 to 20% in Bitcoin, 15 to 20% in Ethereum, and then probably about the same into Solana. So that should be about, about 50% of your bags should be in those three. They're considered fairly safe options. So that way, if, that whole entire market goes down, you're in sort of some stronger coins at the start. Then you want to be breaking it down into, you want to have 10 that are fairly solid in that top 50. Then you want to have some medium risk and some high risk. So that should be the balance of your portfolio. So it's spread, and something is always moving. If something like, Luna happens, you're not all in one coin. You're not going to lose 100% of your money. And with that as well, if you can, depending on where you live in the world, spread that over, a couple of exchanges. If this is long-term bags, look at storing it offline and having that sort of, on a Trezor or on some sort of device that you can use cold storage. So that's kind of for your long term. You should never be actively trading more than 20% of your entire balance. For me, actively trading is where the high risk is. And unless a lot of people don't know what they're doing, and that's where you're going to lose the money. So if you are in a group and that person's posting their, like we do, posting what their results are, then by all means be active trading. But if you're not a trader and you're doing that yourself, there's a high potential that you're going to get, as we go into the bull market, quite greedy and get wiped out on leverage and margin trades. So and that's kind of the cycle. And a lot of people go into it and they spend 6 months sort of trading, get a nice bag, wipe it all out on one trade. So don't be that person. So have it actively spread, and a nice sort of, you've got your long term, you've got within that long term, you've got sort of like your blue chip shares, then you've got some medium risk and some high risk, and have that split up, and then your trading bags, so that that you're actively making some money and you feel good about life. And as the market's green, your bags are getting greener.
As always, not financial advice, but just opinions of an expert, we should say. And also, the other point to make is on the HODL portfolio. If you are with us in getting started in crypto, we have a tool, a page in there. Click on that page, and there is a calculator which will do everything for you. It'll literally work it all out. You input your own coins, whatever you want to HODL, and it will work out how much to DCA, when to DCA over a certain time period. It's just brilliant. It saves so much time and work. So
and if you're looking for cold storage options, the Moon Mag has an article on that as well. So themoonmag.com.
We do. We actually have the next issue out on the 8th, which has already been produced in the studios here, as it were, which looks really cool. And there's some great articles on there, including one on how to do your own deep dives into crypto projects. If you found what you think is a gem, how you can research it and understand more about the project. So lots of cool info in there, free to read on themoonmag.com. So all good. Any other comments you wanted to add, Lise, or anything else you wanted to share?
No, I think we're still going to be fairly green. I think this is just a minor pullback at the moment, and then we'll have a continuation. So, it's looking good for a rate cut coming into September. We've had a $1 billion print in the last week, and hopefully we get some more of those and the market continues.
Exciting. Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining us. If you are in getting started in crypto and you want to request a chart or coin or anything, pop it into the live chat and we will get around to it. Otherwise, yes, thanks everyone for joining us on X, YouTube, and of course from gettingstartedcrypto.com. Have a good week ahead, and we will see you next week.
See you.
Bye.